Sorry to interrupt. Listening to Frank Williams Jr. with a gun in your mouth, Hank Williams Jr. with a gun in your mouth. But it's Monday. We got a back test. I recorded a bunch of shit, and then I realized I was on NDX instead of NQ1 exclamation mark. Which, why are there so many fucking things? And how come E-mini Nasdaq isn't the first one that shows up? I don't know. But um, okay, look. Before we dive in, I drew up my above and below supply and demand zones. And I kind of know what happened today ish. Because somebody sent me a screenshot. I didn't, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be real honest with you. But we're gonna replay it. We can just try to find the setups on the 1 minute. I haven't seen the 1 minute. I haven't seen the setup. So this is real shit. But first look at this. Overnight we came down, and this is when this shit feels like magic. And this is why I really like the volume profile. And it's like if it had to be one indicator, it might just be the volume profile and then drawing zones on top of that. God, God, I'm thankful for other indicators, but that's like really it. Like if I was like really struggling and I had to strip everything off my charts, and I was just looking at too much shit, I might just do that, look at price action, and then like add on the volume profile first. But look at this. So we're in a downtrend. As I'm drawing out supply and demand zones above and below price action as it stands, which is like the first step. We got a lot above because we've been in a big downtrend. So there's a lot of action above. What about below? What do we draw it off of? We have to go way back here. And guess what? We actually have a lot below too. Um, did I say above? I don't know. So look at all this shit. Which one's it gonna bounce off of? I don't know. And even what I'm about to show you doesn't mean that we'll know. But let's take a look at this. What do you notice about this zone right here? Almost exactly. The the middle of this zone is right in a fucking volume ledge. This is a low volume zone down here. What does that mean? That means that fucking nothing happened here. These are big bars, so like you can't, it's not super precise. You know, but this kind of gives you a big picture. What happened here? Price came up to it once, left real quick. Not real quick, but it left for sure. Uh I always feel like someone's in my house. And then it came back up again, kind of bounced out a little bit, but then it gained a little bit of momentum and it flew through that once it gained momentum. Okay. So like don't not pay attention to low volume zones. They're very important. And then it comes back up, it goes back down, and once it hits that volume zone again, it decides I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to keep discovering price upwards, reaching new highs up here. And then when we come back down, you saw a little bounce at this low volume area. Okay, right here. Um, Flew actually straight. This is kind of like the opposite of conventional wisdom, where like it'll struggle to get through high volume nodes. It actually flew straight through it with the help of macro news, obviously, but it flew straight through it, straight to where? Straight to this fucking zone. Oh my god. So that's your price action. That's your volume lesson for the day, VP. Um, who knows? There might be more. Let's see. Uh, and I'm satisfied. I'm not going to go through all these fucking time zones because I want to get back to listening to Chris Cornell and Alice in Chains with a with a with a with a prosecco in my mouth. Okay. Um, but you see it like kind of finding support there. So I'm not opposed to like a retest of something up here ish. I'm not at least this big gap. Like I think we could at least go up there. Okay. And also let's see what this volume profile tells us from 1801. Nothing, obviously. Let's just for a second, I want to do that. Okay, so there's like a point of control up here. There's a value area low here, right above the gap. So I think we could go to either of these areas. I think it's possible. I actually don't want to add too many lines to my chart. But 600 and 800. That should be easy to remember, right? Right? I have horrible memory, which is why that's funny. Okay, let's get our right channel in. I feel good, man. I feel good. I feel good. Um, and I think if we do go up more, we're at the top of the right channel. VWAP is way the fuck down here. Point of control is down here. I think we would come down first, certainly. So I think there'd be an opportunity for us to get in. I don't know. Maybe if this comes up here. And what time is it, by the way? So yeah. We have a ways to go until opening too. So let's just kind of see. And maybe it even bounces off the midline. I don't know. Because there's like a little thing right here. But this is a pretty big gap, this big green bar right here. So I like that. But there she goes, bouncing a little bit off that one. Not quite breaking that high. I've been listening to Creed today. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. Smashing those highs. I'm imagining, like, I don't usually even look at the charts until 9:30, so I'm not really like, I wouldn't be taking something here. Um, but I think it's useful. It's useful. You can kind of look at this kind of area as something happening. Um, and for that reason, for that reason, again, I'm not super like, dude, it has to, can't break through. I'm not that guy anymore, you know? I used to be that guy. So when you see this red guy bouncing off the midline too, I think that's pretty good. You're like you haven't touched the value area, but like you're bouncing off the midline. Um, Now, I obviously we saw this. I should have paused it sooner, but let's just draw that one in. You can take a 1-to-1. You can also take this high. Let's look at the volume profile because that's how I like to kind of target things. Would you look at that? The high is like right here. Oh my God. I've been tracking some trades and it kind of, I think I'm averaging like 1 to 5 R to R. And with the win rate I've been looking at, that's very good. Um, like maybe a 75% win rate. This is not a ton of data too, so just like be cautious of that. But just take, because like here's my thought right now. Okay. Is that this is certainly going to give us a bounce um of some kind. But I still, especially after like this huge jump up here, but I still think that with the overall character of the market, I'm always in the back of my mind, I'm like, we can go lower. So I'm not going to try to like shoot for the stars on this one. And I'm also thinking like we have this bigger gap to fill down here. We have point of control down here. We have VWAP down here, which is now coinciding with this gap. So we have the bottom of the right channel here. So I am, and 9 o'clock, 9:30 is coming. So I'm thinking we could go lower. So that's why I don't want to like hold. Oh, it's gonna break all the way out and go back. Like I just don't know, especially in a bull market, a bear market like this. Uh, almost cracks that high. That's a little ambitious though. I want this. Uh, that kind of, yeah. Like this is interesting too, because I bet you get like a little bit of a reaction here if you bounce out of there. Still gonna wait. Yep, and it taps it. Really bearish candle. Yeah, no, no, none of. So this is kind of like a fake out. I'm waiting for it to come to the midline, come to the supply zone, come to the value area high, because like they kind of burned a lot of steam on this one. Even though this is a nice demand zone, I'm like I need to see a good reaction there at the level. But now we're coming down to the one that I like down here. Let's see if anything happens. It's also gonna be 9:30, so like you can kind of expect a lot of volume to inject itself in the market. Okay. Whoa, whew, 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 whew. See that? Now, is the bottom of the right channel down here? Yes. Is this a nice reaction at VWAP with a pretty big zone? I think so. This is a lot of risk, so like you should size down. Um, and point of control still down here, but I would kind of like, I might be like a little interested in something here. What does a 1-to-1 look like? I mean, the risk is just so massive. Let's just see what happens there. Immediately taken out. Hilarious. Okay, so that's an L for us. And that's just that, I mean, that point of control, man. Plus the bear market. And look, would you look at that? There's kind of a zone down here. After that failed, now I'm also kind of thinking, and it bounced straight off the VWAP once it got under it. Now I'm like, okay, are we trying to catch a falling knife if we go along here? Um, because that is tempting. But and like we're right at the bottom of the right channel here, baby. But I don't know. Yeah, and we're just breaking through. And there's a little bit of a hitch there, but I'm not crazy about whatever going on here. There's kind of a volume ledge. I don't know. Should we try it? Let's try it. Let's see if this one works out for a little bit. Finding right here. Just take the candle. Take it up to VWAP. Ooh, there you go. Nice little VWAP play below the point of control. um, you went down for that first 15 minutes. I don't know. But I do like that we're at the bottom of the channel. Finally hit point of control. Maybe we're gonna retest VWAP. You know, and there's like a little bit of a volume ledge back there that backs this. That backs this. So volume ledge, almost perfectly. Beautiful. Okay, so not bad. And if you got a runner, I don't know, leave it up to value area high up here, and that hits. Shit, if you got two runners, take it up to there. And let's not forget, um, yeah, it's always just like it's like catching a falling knife at some point. Like it's tough because that does look really good, but maybe if it didn't bounce off of this, like we're thinking, I don't know. I don't know. I guess even if we are in an uptrend, like you can kind of just expect it to go to the bottom of the channel. And if it can't hold up here at the midline and at the value area high, I think VWAP's just not strong enough. Like you're just gonna expect that. So be wary of that. When you're if you're talking about like mean reversions and like going to like key levels as a magnet, it can be dangerous to trade in the middle, but then it also kind of goes against trading in the middle here. So I don't know. But we're being conservative here. Okay, so we take a little scalp there. I think we're green for the day. If we're you know now I'm gonna draw in. I think from the last video I didn't I I I've been drawing this in right away and like it'll kind of give you a little fake out like see that straight down. But yeah, I think honestly like it just gets in the way for that first like 30 minutes. Um, but just keep going. Hey, uh, you're gonna take losses. It's the name of the game, baby. And you're probably hitting the top there. So yeah, if you did, I thought that third runner was kind of lofty, but if you did target that top, like I would just fucking leave. I would just get out. There you go. So like, if you buy in down here, okay, let's say you have 10 micro contract. You can break this up however you want. I would feel better about taking most of it off at a conservative target. Let's say you have let's say you have 8 contracts of anything. 10, sorry, 10. Take off 8 right here. That's your 105. That's the major share, lion share, whatever the fuck of your thing. Um, take off another. This is midline and value area high, so take off another one here, and then let the other one run. Maybe just take it off at the high. I mean, 500. I mean, come on. Even if you're looking at, if you're looking at one M and Q, that's still like a 1,100 bucks. Come on. But I just did VWAP here. But it just smashed straight through that fucking VWAP. Fuck it. But I'm still until I get like a better feel of this and get some more data. I'm not going for those nutso R to R's. Um, but this is really respect. You can see how much it's respecting at the moment the higher reg channel. And maybe we break through here. What the fuck? Okay, I I really don't understand that. But that that shit happens. And I don't think there was news at that time either. The majority of news was in the afternoon. Shut up. Do I feel bad about that? No. Do I feel bad about getting in the bottom and not catching that whole move? I mean, a small part of you does, but the mature, confident trader inside of you has to be like, I got my nut right here, bro. I got my nut. I got my nut. Fuck, I'm gonna do with $500? You know what I'm saying? So you get your fucking nut, be happy with it. And that's why you have runners too. I think runners are a better psychological tool than they are. This is all stuff I talked about today with my boss. They're a better psych tool than they're a good capital tool, but like they're a better psych tool because if you get that nut and you have a couple runners, you feel good no matter what because you're like, I got my nut right here. Um, I can walk away and leave it, and it comes back down to my stop. I'm not gonna feel like an asshole because I didn't take any profit. Um, I have time to do more analysis, see if I want to take it. Like you could have targeted the edge of the volume profile, which happens to fucking coincide with this top of this channel. I mean, these like the shit just comes together like that. You understand me? It that this big volume edge came together right with the top of this channel, which we've been seeing it bing, bong, bing, respected channel. So, yeah, dude. Okay, so you get that. I mean, really, just like, what the fuck? I didn't know it went this nuts today. Like, it looks like now. Oh, and you remember what we looked at earlier? 600 and 800. I'm just gonna. It blew through both of those levels that we looked at before. Point of control, value add, and maybe we bounce back down here. Like that's one of those things where like you get your nut, you come outside here, take a bigger look at everything. What's going on? It makes this crazy breakout. Okay, maybe we go higher. And then you target that shit up there. Just rambling. But that's the kind of thing. Yeah, that's like it's just like the kind of flexibility you get when you get runners. You're not like my whole position is dependent on it getting up here, or my whole position is dependent on getting up and then not going back down to my little stop down there, you know? You got your nut cut. How much did that go up though? Like, holy shit. I mean, you shitting me? Just $3,000 right there. That's cool. With my meager 100, I mean, that's 1,000 points. Did I say $3,000? That's like $30,000. $3,000. It's a $30,000 move on the E-mini. Like what the fuck, bro? Like what the fuck? And that's one of those things where you just cannot fucking predict that it's gonna go that much counter trend. And I'm sure some people think this is the bottom here, but I think it could just keep going lower. That's just speculation. But like really look at this shit. There's a gosh fucking darn. Like this is just everything coming together, okay? That's all it is. There's a gall dang low freaking there's a ledge. This is the lowest node. Yesterday, you're looking at price close around here or whatever. Let's just look at it. You're looking at price close right here. Okay. Um, okay, we've broken through all this shit. I'm sure there's a couple of demand zones here, but do they have we've already broken through here. What's this? This is kind of like a meh node, but what's this? It's the ledge. If we're gonna get a react, and this is not like we're gonna hit that ledge and we're gonna boom, go up. This is like, okay, I'm paying extra fucking attention to this ledge because the higher time frame zone backed by that ledge. There's no volume down here. So what's price gonna do when it comes down here? Maybe it's gonna react. And so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna gamble on it, but I'm gonna pay the fuck attention when it hits. And what happens when it hits? It makes a higher low in the pre-market overnight. It makes a nice rejection, makes a higher low, and it just climbs over the VWAP, and you're building this 1801 reg channel that just looks like an uptrend, and then it hits the bottom of that. I mean, it's really just like the shit just comes together, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't even a good fucking like okay. This is a good zone. Like this shot the fuck up. So did this, and we didn't get the reaction we thought. So did this, where I didn't get the reaction I thought right at VWAP. What does that tell you? It tells you is that it's just respecting different gods today. Today's respecting the god of the 1801 reg channel, combined with this, combined with value areas. These things just come together so well sometimes. And like, if you caught that $30,000 move, I am proud of you. And like, it just goes straight up to yesterday's value area high and fucks off. That's not the day. Let's look at what the actual day value area is. That's just like, you know, like it just blows my freaking mind sometimes, dude. But all it is other people looking at this chart and looking at these levels and being like, not even like I don't know what an institutional move. I'm sure there's institutions in here. Would you fucking look at that? I'm sure there's institutions in here, but I feel like a lot of that stuff, like I still want to sound like one of those ICT guys who's like, make the money, the bank makes the move. Like I'm sure it does, but that doesn't matter. The why just doesn't matter as much when you're looking at the how or the what or the where. So would you look the fuck at that? What is above yesterday? So it comes up to yesterday's. This is not magic. This is just shit that happens. We've seen it twice already today. It comes up here, value area high from yesterday, and there's a big gap in volume. Big, just like missing a tooth, like me when I fell off that scooter. This is a fake tooth. That's my tooth. And that's precisely like it's not a fucking magic trick, dude. That's exactly where price comes up to and says, no, and comes back down. Okay. And we love to see a breakout and then retest. So let's see if it does that. So I just spent like a lot of time just being like just marveling in God's wonder. That's not an amazing break and retest. I think you could take that. I've seen that candle go like keep going up. Let's do it. Let's be a little risky. I have a gut feeling this is gonna break back below, but because there's no volume up here, yeah, I feel like it's gonna go down. That's just my feeling. But it really is like at these levels. Okay, so let's just say like you wanted to, what was that? What the fuck is this? Volume profile. No, thank you. Like super high. So I wouldn't you risk crazy. So just take a tiny little. Let's just like in our role playing world that we're in, let's just like take it up to POC and in our little fun world we're playing in, let's just pretend we take one MNQ because I want to see what happens here. Like, does it bounce off the top of that? Respectfully, it does not. Okay. So my gut instinct was right. But that's why we size down in our fun little world. Because, like, here's just why I felt like it's not going to do that. There's just, look at all the volume down here. Look at all the volume up here. We just made a crazy move. Yeah, it's bouncing off the thing, but like this is where the volume is. This is where value area high is. So, you know, take like think about it that way. And if we think of this as like a big gap down, um, we filled all this volume up. We didn't fill this gap. So I don't know about the gap thing, but it's only fucking like 11, not even. And I'm just yapping. Yeah, let's draw this out. Hitting the value area high, close to VWAP, close to the midline. I think it could go lower. It's like we did not respect this big ass demand zone. I think it will goes higher immediately. Okay, you don't need to be right to make money. That's fine. Um, I think are we gonna are we gonna break this 1801 again? Like, are we gonna come up here? That's what I'm wondering right now. Because I kind of could go either way right now. I still think there's stuff down here that it wants to, you know, mess with. There's a big jump. Okay, in here. Are we bearish? Broke above again. What's it bouncing off of on the profile? Kind of near the edge of a high volume area, but not super duper. Um, I'm neutral about this. Good thing you didn't short there. So now, what happened here? We broke this high. So now I'm thinking we still got some bullishness in us. I'm gonna wait for a nice retrace, but we still got a little bit of fire. This is like kind of a zone. Um, I don't know. That second tap, like you could take that for a little scalp, probably, I'm sure, but um, still agnostic on the out volume profile. Still not in a great place, reg channel wise. So going down, we do break that high, so you could take that little guy up to the high, but the risk is not going to be great. You're taking, yeah, don't like just from the risk alone, don't even bother taking it to the high, unless you're just fucking buying right when it hits the damn. You know what I'm saying? That's you know 35 minutes, Worth it, boys. So let's see if it dips back in here to get a little more liquid titty or not. No. Could still bounce, but no. Not going long on that. Now I'm looking kind of down here to go long. I'm also more looking down here. Whoa. And what the heck does it bounce off of? Green midline, bottom of blue. Hmm. So I'm kind of starting to see how the day candle formed that I saw, and like this is where I'm like, I don't know. Um, but I do like what the reg channel is telling me, the VWAP, this zone, what is the volume profile telling us? It's like dipping back into the edge of volume. So maybe it wants to go back to where there's more volume. Uh, what if we set like a limit order at the top of this candle? Because it's also not a great candle. Let's just set that right there. And then I would expect it to kind of fill the gap at least or come back up to the channel. Okay. I'd say we go in on that. And I'm cautious about this. Doesn't look good. No shot. It worked. All right. So yeah, that was sketchy for sure. Um, but yeah, it worked. Um, why was that sketchy? Because of the big downtrend, because of I guess volume still like if you look at it this way, like it was playing around really nicely long in the volume area, value area, poked straight up, not a ton of volume, poke came straight back down. I don't like it out here, you know? Like, let me in. Like that kind of shit. That's why I'm like, okay, well, if it were really liking the volume down here, if we're really liking the value area down here, why wouldn't we like the point of control? Um, Especially, again, always keeping that macro in the back of your head, which is like in an ideal world, I'll have an in an ideal world, um, you'll have people are like, all those screens just so you can lose money. And like, yeah, you don't need multiple screens to make money. I think you should have a system that you can make money on one screen, but um, it genuinely doesn't matter. But completely besides the point. The point was like, ideally, you have a more macro view somewhere else that's also going to help you. I mean, I don't know what this reg channel's. Today's the 8th. Today's the 7th. Um, so I mean, if you're looking at this reg channel too, like we broke above it and really messing around at the top here. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna put a ton of time into like drawing this out, but you, do you know what I mean? Like you would hopefully have another way of looking at this that helps you kind of make sense of whatever's going on here. But I think the volume thing kind of makes sense. It is like, okay, we're showing a lot of bullishness, but we also don't want to stay in this low volume area. Maybe there's more bulls down here that are going to help us move this up. Or maybe we continue the macro trend. Let's keep going. We're not even at noon yet, dude, but I'm really enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. So that yeah, it sucks. It sucks to see it go 150 points against your 180 point stop. But you set the stop. I did have that thought while I was watching that. I was like, would I close it out? Would I close it out? But you set that trade. If it doesn't work out, set another one when you get a good read. Hello. Hello. Okay. So I was kind of there were a couple days where I kind of blocked out one side because I was but you notice also like it comes straight up to the where does it come up to? The high volume node. I know it looked a little different before, but high volume node. And if you just want to take it this supply zone, like that's fine too. That's still more than a 1-to-1. If your thing is just gonna fill this gap, like go ahead. And look, it also comes straight up to the midline. Not quite on that tip, on that, you know. Okay, so if we're bouncing down from the midline, if we have kind of a high volume node here, if the overall trend is kind of changing down, then I think I'm kind of, I wouldn't feel bad about taking this candle. I'm not crazy about, but it did put in a lower low. I'm I'm just gonna put it in. Um, I'm gonna delete it in a sec, but I want to see what happens. Like let's say because I know we already are seeing this play out, so like obviously I'm bearish, but at this down candle, let's kind of see what happens here. And let's look at a target, probably value area high. I feel like I've seen this happen before. At least the low, like if you want to be conservative, the low for sure. Um, but yeah, man, I'm like if again, you're continuously building context, you're continuously telling a story. So like if my story that the story that I just told about there's no volume up here, let's keep going down here. If I'm still believing that story and that's serving me, why wouldn't I target volume down here? Let's play a little game. Let's say first target right here, value very high. Second target, view up. Third target is point of control. You son of a gun, you. Third target down here. This is just like, let's play a little game. Okay? This is just, let's play a little game. And am I going to back out of this like a coward if it doesn't work? Yes. Am I going to back out of it if it does work? Yeah. Because we already are seeing this happen. But we could still find another, it could bounce at VWAP. It could bounce at value area high. I just feel confident about it hitting value area high. Okay. I just feel confident about that. Is it going to come back against us? Very well could. When you put on a trade, this was something I like last summer. I was just like telling myself, I was like, it's just get in your head. It's just gonna fucking go against you. It just is. You could fucking smash a 200 point W. That thing could come within like 5 points of your stop and then go to 200 points. That's why you just set it and forget it. Okay? But let's see what happens. And midline, like you can't jump at every reaction because again, this whole the philosophy of using confluence is just like the whole point is it's gonna react at levels. So now this looks horrible. Let's keep going because let's also keep our eyes out for long trades. Just because we're here doesn't mean, like, what does the volume look like here? It's kind of a ledge actually that it's bouncing off of. And like, look, if you're short on, nah, kind of a ledge that is bouncing off of, like, not a great zone, but there was consolidation right here. And like, if you get a new read and you're like, and you're still short here, and something tells you, um, oh, this is my setup, and my target is up here, just get the fuck out of this trade and go long. That's fine. If that's your read, if you're confident in that, do it. But I still have some hope for this short here. You see that bounce right there? Um, Off the midline, kind of like breaking back above value area high. We put in a new low above value area high, breaking back into value area, much lower than this low. I still a little bearish on this. Not just because I drew that low box, but look at this too. It's also kind of consolidating again at the midline. And this is where I would fucking look back and see what happens at the midline. It bounced here, it bounced here, it bounced here. It had a lot of trouble here. It bounced here, it bounced here, it bounced here, consolidated here, consolidated, bounce here. What's going to happen here? Our 1801 reg is still bullish. Actually, our 930 is still bullish. So I'm now at the point like maybe that's short. If I'm still in that short, maybe it's just time to get the fuck out. Um, what was my? Did I just delete my? Oh, my target was VWAP. Okay, so it didn't hit VWAP. My second target. Um, but I am at the point where I'm like, maybe I want to like on this candle, bouncing off that midline. This isn't. This isn't. I am on the fence because I was just short. There's a lot of volume here, but also look at this, like higher. Okay, I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna say let's go long. So we took this little short down here. That was a good one. That's why we're conservative because we don't know when it's gonna flip against us. If you're still in and you see this, like I would just get out with the rest of it. Gonna delete this because that I drew that in after it started to go down, but I am gonna leave this because that was a good play. And this is another one where it's like, let's just see what happens because I already saw some of this play out, but like, let's just see what happens with this. And then if that does go up, like maybe just value very high, a little under one. Whoop! Don't get out. Don't get out of that short just yet, Chief. Yeah, so that's not strong enough to take that in. But I was like, I was looking at this, the midline reactions, I'm looking at the higher lows, and I was thinking like, okay, long, but I was wrong. Okay. It'd be funny if it bounced out of here. Huh? Okay. So that's one of those ones where it's like, with this being like the ledge, nah, 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 nah. So that's one of those ones where like, okay, right move, wrong zone, right? Like if your stop had been down here, obviously too much, you want to wait for it to come down here and then like take that trade. But yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Um, but let's look at this play. Like high volume. I don't know. I guess it's just coming down like to where there's more volume. Like I just became liquidity for people down here, and then you buy there, and you do indeed take it up to that value area, which looks a little different now. What's it actually look like there? Which looks very fucking different now. It's like you can just get a get 2.65 RR out of that if you just wait a minute. So I'm gonna put the arrow on that too. Yeah, I wasn't 100%. I wasn't the most confident on that. But the other thing is, if you're still short here, you remember you haven't been stopped out just yet. So let's see if like see if it just went like it spiked straight above value area high and then stopped. But now look, point of control is here. So even if you're still short from this, even if you're still short over here, look at how your targets are because we're not targeting like that level. We were targeting point of control when it was down here. Now, this is a lot of bullish stuff. That probably scared the fuck out of a lot of people. I would have shit my pants. Oh, it's been like an hour. Um, and after seeing that, I'm just gonna get the fuck out at the new point of control for sure. This is giving you a lot. If you're short here, it's giving you a lot of chances to get out with a nice profit. Like, do you see it breaking below this level anymore? Look at the reactions off that. That's just, you know. So if you're short here, then market's being very nice to you. And then like, what this look back. Now I'm traumatized. I'm scared because I fucked up right here, right? Um, well, we got enough juice to like. Also, there was news right at 1 p.m. and then there's news at 2 and 2:30. So take that into account. Maybe just be out by the time there's news. Point of control breaking above point of control. Midline kind of. What else? I think this is like, yeah, point of control. I think this could be a decent long here. Maybe not a full blown, fully confident long, but like, let's try it. That's the midline. Let's go for the high. It broke this high. That was news though, so you know. Oh my goodness. Cool. It's not breaking through this zone at all whatsoever. Puts in a higher high, which it did here, to be fair, and we got fucked up on that. So This one was like a little consolidative. I don't know. But that's okay. Just take it in stride because we have a lot of other opportunities that we took that would just big picture, big picture. Okay. News is coming up. Yeah, too. So we have a little bit now. And I have like I'm gonna end up putting these in a damn. I'm putting these together here. I have like just my notes and like my narrative for the day. How confident was I subjectively? Tags, something I learned from Fat Cat. But overall, like I want to just fucking throw this thing into Chat GPT and be like, hey, can you make this just like more efficient and make more sense? And ideally, I want to be able to pivot this out so like I can look up a tag that's like how many of my trades were a 930 bounce? How well did those do? And then you can like actually look at the data and be like, here's what's working. Sidebar. This also doesn't make sense because this is linked to the risk table I have where I'm like, if I want to risk this much of this account, how this is just like there's another fucking video on it that sucks, but um I made this little table and I made this. It's overly complicated, but but this is like this is not accurate, but I would say it's like 70. I mean, we're looking at this, right? Sorry for the fucking sidebar, by the way, but um, one, two, three. That's two wins, one loss. Win, loss, win. So that's four. That's a 66% win rate for this day, not including that short. So, you know, would love to see it stay above 50. But again, like we're kind of we're doing a few like I think we're still I think we're still averaging around 1.5 R to R. So like even with 50, you're technically fine. You're breaking even. Okay. Let's keep it going. Let's close this day out. Finish strong. Hello. Yeah, they gotta work on that. Okay. So like we're kind of in a little bit of a bigger range here. Um, I'm seeing if we want to break out. Obviously, bouncing straight off the high. Okay, we've seen this happen a couple times too. Use your neurons right now. We've seen this level be like fail to break, but so like you're like, oh, this is a good place to go short. But what's happening below it is higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, still above the zone, higher low. There's a lot of gas going up into here, and I'm not super confident about that level. But it is value very high, so let's just see what happens. A lot of consolidation, breaking through. I no longer give a fuck about shorting there. A little bit wiki. A little wiki. I can never find the thing that like actually move the volume profile. Okay, we wick the top of the 1801. Now the 930 is wider because of this big thing, so that's like kind of weird, but then we get a really strong candle kind of trying to break through it. What does this is like a volume ledge. So while that candle's not great, Um, I wonder if we're gonna break short here, because yeah, okay, okay, still just like consolidating. Yeah, I don't know. I was looking for just like a clear signal to go short here, but I don't know. Even that, it's like, what do we think? I think you could try a little some. That's just what I think. Value very low. Maybe this low. Just do value very low. High, I mean. Let's just see. I don't feel great about this. Yeah. Bing. Oh, what? And breaks right and hits my stop. Oh, and it goes up to the volume ledge and then turns down. So yeah, that's not great. Now it's like, like I don't want to FOMO in, but this looks like it's going down now. So that's happened a couple times today. Um, where I kind of just get in too early and get stopped out. But I'm not sure like what zone, unless you like look at this candle as kind of, unless you look at this, you know, but then it's like, what, your risk is going to be all the way up here. Just take that one on the chin. Boink. Still just tempted to go short here. You know what I mean? But this isn't as strong as the other one, and it's still like a green bar, so. Oh, yeah, good thing you didn't go short there. I'm trying to think like where, I just don't think there was like a great place to get in long here from what I'm looking at. So it's also kind of consolidating. Oh, also 2 o'clock was news. So maybe just stay, maybe just don't start a trade at 152, you know? It might be smart. Pay attention to the real world time. And 2:30 is coming up. There it goes. And nothing really happened at 2:30, but it does go down, take out that low. Let's see if value area moved. I bet it did. Yeah. Doesn't quite come down there yet. Okay. But yeah, man, like this whole day, the large green 1801 channel never, it was always bullish. Look at that. It's your target. Bing. Damn, that sucks. It really got you by like a point. Went to your shit. More than a point if you. But like you're not going to use that as your risk up here. That's insane. Okay. Yeah, you see, like now we're kind of starting to worm it down a little bit here. Really wicky. Any zones back here I should be looking at? Really just this. We're at the end of the day. Kind of winding down. A little bounce. I don't know why. It's 1:30. Bounces off that midline. Pretty nice. But still I don't see a lot of stuff going on there. All right, you see how perfect I dragged that? Yeah, I don't see a great, I don't see a reason to stop there. But this has formed like kind of a zone. But I don't feel great about that. I feel like it's going down to POC. Yeah. What's going on? The day's closed now. Um, I just want to see what happens. But we are like still just like making higher low. We're still breaking highs. But the bottom of the reg channels are down here. VWAP's down there. POC's down there. So I just kind of have this weird bias, but I just want to see if I was right. Not that I'm in a trade right now, but you know. Well, POC comes up. This is really just ego at this point. But yeah. Overnight. And let's just go. Keeps going higher. So my goofy was incorrect. But yeah, I think sometimes I forget to zoom out and look at look at the reg channels. Just look at what they're telling you. Um, yeah. See ya.